It's Monday, February 24th, 2020. The stock market today was scorched earth. Dow Jones down 1,031 points. I just got in from work, so I wasn't able to follow everything as closely as I would have liked, but I made some notes this morning. And these numbers are subject to change, obviously, because so much has transpired throughout the day. But I want to go over them. I want to recap what happened today, and I want to talk about possibly what we might see tomorrow. Dow Jones down 1,031 points. Oil was down over 5%. Bond yields got slammed today. Bond yields absolutely scorched. The 10-year was at 1.35. This is the lowest it's been since July of 2016. We continue to watch this inverted yield curve, warning you and me that there's big trouble approaching. The 3-month was at 1.54. The 1-year was at 1.35. The 2-year at 1.24. The 5-year at 1.19. And the 10-year, as I said, 1.35. That's about the lowest it's been in nearly 4 years. The 30-year at 1.80. This is the all-time record low. So we have plunging bond yields. We have an inverted yield curve. We have the Dow Jones down over 1,000 points. We've got terrible global economic news. We've got this infection spreading all over the world. You think maybe something bad is coming, and yet I was watching a little bit of Fox Business and CNBC, and I'm going to tell you, these people, as a good friend of mine, Kent, said today, these people are ignorant, joking about the situation in China, the situation that is now spreading all over the world, joking about it. This is how ignorant they are, and this is how lightly they're taking the danger of this event. Really, really ignorant. Gold was up $41 this morning. It's pulled back. Silver, I saw when I was watching earlier this morning, was up 36 cents. That's pulled back also. But let's talk about why gold pulled back. What caused this? I think this may be one of the causes of why we saw gold pull back. I think it's around $17. We're at $16.60 the last I checked. There was a $3 billion notional of futures dumped through the market. Perhaps someone just sold whatever they could to cover the collateral calls on their equity losses. This was on Zero Hedge today. So a lot of paper gold hit the market, and this certainly may have been the cause of why we saw gold prices plunge a bit and pull back. But this does not seem to have a big effect on stocks. I'm surprised today with silver. It was up 36 cents. I thought we should have seen it up much, much higher. It's also pulled back. But I think what we will see is people are going to get out of reach with gold because gold prices are going to continue to soar, and most people are not going to be able to afford to buy an ounce of gold. So what will they do? They're going to buy the poor man's gold. They're going to buy gold's little brother, silver. And I think this will force silver prices up. I think there's going to be a big demand for silver. Look, gold is on sale right now, even at $16.60. Silver at, I don't know, $18.80 right now, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's an all-out bargain. It's a steal. To be able to buy a hard asset like silver for under $20, it's a no-brainer. We continue to see store shelves empty in countries all over the world. And another interesting article I was reading today was this story with Fidelity. Fidelity, as you know, I think I did a video on it about a week ago. When the markets were screaming, people could not access their Fidelity accounts. People, their balances were zero or they couldn't get in. So there was a big mess about a week ago while markets were screaming. People could not access their Fidelity accounts. Well, lo and behold, today, while markets are crashing, people could not access their Fidelity accounts. And this brings me back that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Now, I'm not telling you to cash out your Fidelity account or your money markets, your IRAs. your 401ks or anything like that. But I am telling you, if you don't hold something, you don't own it. This is probably the most important time in our history to be your own central bank. You need to be able to have access to your money, to your assets. Just think, if a grid went down, a cyber attack, if there's some kind of corruption where you are frozen out of your account, when you need that money in an emergency, if this market was crashing, you're going to do whatever you can do to get your money out. You'll pay whatever penalty, whatever tax. But what if you can't access your money? And they just tell you there's a glitch in the system. We've had a cyber attack. We've had a grid attack, whatever. You don't know what kind of corruption might be playing in these institutions also, where they're purposely going to freeze you out of this account. Remember, the banks are going to look out for the banks first. You are second. And if there's a crash, if there's a bank run, they're going to shut the system down. You will not have access to your money. Be your own central bank. And remember, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. We continue to see more troubling news with the U.S. economy. Now, typically when we have a day like we had today, and this was a wild one. Typically, we see somewhat of a rebound the next day. Look, the plunge protection team is busy at work. The Fed will be injecting massive amounts of money into the repo market. And let's talk about that for a minute. When I looked this morning, I saw that the Fed injected another $40 billion into these markets this morning. Just think about that. A Fed injection of $40 billion into these markets, and we were down. The Dow Jones was down 1,031 points. Where would we have been without that injection? We don't know what was happening behind the scenes, what the plunge protection team was doing, holding all this up. We could have quite literally been down 2,000 points today, easily. Look, they're using every tool in their bag to keep this thing floating, to keep it propped up, to keep the damage to a minimal. We don't know how much money they're going to have to pump in tomorrow. We have no idea what the plunge protection team will be up to tomorrow. We have no idea how much paper, gold, and silver will flood the market tomorrow to suppress precious metals. Look, take advantage of it. If you don't have any, buy some. If you have some, buy more. Here's some more news. Pizza Hut's largest franchisee is on the brink of bankruptcy. 500 stores closing for remodel. That's what they're saying right now. Many of these 500 stores that they're saying they're going to close for remodel are never going to open. NPC, better known as Pizza Hut's largest franchisee, is on the brink of bankruptcy. It defaulted on $800 million of its $1 billion of debt. Do you think this might affect the stock market a little bit? Do you think that this is maybe a reflection of the real U.S. economy? This isn't fine dining. This is Pizza Hut. This is cheap food. The company is reportedly exploring restructuring for its more than 1,200 Pizza Hut locations and 400 Wendy's. Rising food costs and rising labor costs are going to wipe out a lot of restaurants in the upcoming year here in 2020 and 2021. The cost of going out to eat now is getting absolutely crazy. And at some point, people are going to continue to cut more and more of this out. Look, just to go to a McDonald's for lunch is around $10 now. And people are choosing just to make food at home now. They are on a budget. They're getting tapped out. The money is running out. The credit is running out. People are having to make real serious decisions here on where they're spending their money. And a lot of people now are going to cut out going to lunch 5 days a week. They're going to cut out going out to dinner multiple times a week, even if it's fast food, because fast food now is $10, $15, $20 a pop, and the money is running out. The middle class is being absolutely obliterated here in the United States of America, and we're going to see more restaurants like Pizza Hut, more fast food restaurants going out of business because of the cost of food, the cost of labor. They're just not going to be able to stay in business with this economy. People don't have the money to continue to go out to dinner. And this is another bellwether of what is happening with the real U.S. economy, what's happening with the middle class here in America. The middle class is being annihilated, period. This economy is being annihilated, period. And if you are not preparing, look, things could rebound tomorrow. Things could get back to normal the rest of the week, next week. But take today, what you just saw, okay? How many people woke up today and thought that they would just see scorched earth on the stock market today? Dow Jones down over 1,000 points. Gold up $41 at one point. Look, this is all telling you where it's all going. The handwriting on the wall is very clear. No matter what happens tomorrow or the rest of the week or next week, remember what just happened today. In the blink of an eye, how quick this can all happen. And too many people are not taking these warning signs seriously. I'm here to tell you, take this very, very seriously, because at some point, these markets are not going to rebound. They're not going to come back. You're going to see massive economic trouble, a disaster take place here in America. New York Post today. Workers are treading water despite booming economy, analysts say. We have a very serious problem here in America when it comes to the U.S. worker. The U.S. worker is heading into very, very serious trouble. U.S. economy is booming. Unemployment at a 50-year low, a soaring stock market, and the longest expansion in U.S. history. All this, but about 50% of U.S. workers received no pay raise last year. Average salaries are stagnant. U.S. workers are getting left behind. 80 to 90% of this country is treading on water as they work paycheck to paycheck. One paycheck away from a very, very serious event financially happening in their household. Many people are one flat tire away from a real bad situation. They're borrowing money heavily. They're drowning in debt. $14.15 trillion in consumer debt. And all this job creation that we keep hearing about, it's low wage jobs. Look, we know real inflation's around 10% a year. The average worker did not get a raise last year. The average U.S. worker, 50% of U.S. workers got nothing, falling behind. 80% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. 46% of this country doesn't even have $400 saved up. What scares me most is when I see days like today, when this market just got scorched, decimated. What happens when we start seeing continuous days of this? What happens when the pension crisis becomes a reality? What happens when the paper millionaires look on the computer screen and they're no longer paper millionaires? They're broke. What's going to happen with people getting ready to retire if they get wiped out? What is going to we have never been at this point here in America in our history. We've never been in these waters before. We are down a very, very dark, deep hole here where we've never been. And there is so much uncertainty out there, so much danger. And this is why you must continue to prepare. The people who have not been preparing, I think we've reached a point now that there's nothing they're going to be able to do. I feel bad for these people, but we all have free will. We all saw the warning signs. Some of us paid attention, some of us didn't. It may be too late for millions of people to even start to prepare for what's coming. So many people have trusted the banks, the markets, the government, and their futures with these entities that they're committed. They're tied up in 401ks. They're tied up in the stock market. How many people are just not going to get out of these markets? I bet you 95 plus percent of people are not going to get out of these markets. They're going to wait and hope that nothing bad happens. They're going to hope that things rebound tomorrow, and they quite possibly may. But too many people are going to stay in these markets. They're going to stay at the poker table just a little too long, and they're going to get wiped out. The paper millionaires are going to get wiped out. People, I was talking to somebody today telling me that their 401k was up $75,000 from last summer or whatever it was. But they also said they don't have the money in their hands. They may only see half of that if they're lucky. They may see less. They may completely be obliterated. Nobody knows. There's just so much that we don't know. There's so much uncertainty. When there's uncertainty out there, you better act like your own central bank. You better have access to money. You better have access to assets. People are just hoping that their money is going to be there when they retire. And there's no guarantee that it will. One thing we can guarantee is gold and silver will never be worth zero. And nobody else, nothing else can guarantee that. A 401k, a pension can be worth zero overnight. Gold and silver will never be worth zero. It's got a 5,000-year history. So take advantage of the prices. They're still extremely low. You haven't seen anything yet. And again, we could just see a massive rebound for the rest of the week. It could go on for the next couple weeks. Who knows? Expect this. Expect to see a rate cut coming. And I don't think it's going to just be 25 basis points. I think the next rate cut's going to be at least a half a point, maybe 3/4 of a point, because a quarter point is basically just going to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound at this point. So I think the Fed is going to have to get much more extreme. I think that the repo injections are going to get bigger, and that means the debts are going to get bigger. We're going to see things get more extreme. The Fed's balance sheet will expand. Interest rates are going to go to zero. They are going to do whatever they need to do to keep this thing going as long as possible. Bet against the debt. Use every day as an opportunity to put cash away, to top off all preparations, and to buy gold, to buy silver. Look, most people are priced out of gold at this point. Buy silver. Buy the poor man's gold, silver. Many people are predicting that the big boom will be silver. The ratios are so out of whack that we should see a real big move in silver. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Have no idea what's going to happen. Futures are up a little bit, but the news financially, the news of this infection, the news coming out of China, that's coming out of the Middle East, it's coming out through all over the world, is not good. Infections popping up everywhere, global slowdown everywhere. We may now be getting very, very close to a global depression. Again, for the people out there that have not been preparing, it's going to be a very, very dangerous time for you. Tomorrow's another day. Use it as an opportunity to continue to prepare. Be your own central bank. Make sure you are stockpiling all of your preparations, and bet against this debt. Debt is going to be what brings everything down. He who holds the gold rules the world. Take advantage of the time right now. The people who have nothing are going to lose. The people with assets and money are going to take advantage of this situation. But these people out there who choose to do absolutely nothing, who judge people like you and me because we have preparations, we have financial preparations, they're almost angry that we're betting against the debt, that we're preparing for bad times, that we're going to take advantage of the bad times and we're going to prosper. There's people actually angry about that we should just do nothing. We should all be broke. We shouldn't take advantage of any of these opportunities that are coming. Look, I don't fear what's coming. Okay. People say I'm pessimistic. I'm optimistic because I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to capitalize on what's coming. And you should do the same thing. And I'm not going to feel sorry for people who are out leasing cars, buying houses, living way beyond their means, not putting any money away, living paycheck to paycheck because they choose to. They want to live in a 5-bedroom house when they should be living in a 2-bedroom house. They've got the boats, they got the sand rails, they've got the RVs. They chose this lifestyle. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that have chosen a lifestyle that they cannot afford. And many people, like myself, are going to take advantage of this. We're going to be buying their houses. We're going to be buying their boats. We'll be buying their RVs, their sand rails. We're going to be buying everything on sale because we made a choice not to live in the party right now, not to live in the bubble right now. We're awake. We see the dangers, okay? We've made sacrifices and saved and put away for the sales. So people are living in the party right now, oblivious to the dangers, and yet people will judge us like we're taking advantage of something. No, I'll tell you, the people living in the party right now are taking they're taking advantage of the Ponzi scheme. They're taking advantage of this propped up, manipulated bubble Ponzi scheme market. I'm not. I'm going to take advantage of the real market when things crash and we have real values on these assets. When asset valuations, when we have real asset valuation prices, then I'm going to take advantage of the situation. But right now, these people are taking advantage of this massive bubble. Most of these people have to know that these markets are all propped up with low rates, corporate buybacks, low interest rates, repo injections. Everybody's laughing because they're paper millionaires. They think it's all fun and games. But what they don't know is this joyride is not going to go on forever. The party is coming to an end. 12 years without a correction, and these people think nothing bad's going to happen. Look, I'm not going to feel bad for these people. They are acting irresponsibly, and I'm going to take advantage of this market when it crashes, when it breaks into a million pieces. I'm going to buy whatever I can buy, and I'm going to set my future up by taking advantage of it. And you should do the same thing. Nobody's feeling sorry for these people posting videos and pictures all over social media of their Hawaii vacations and their champagne brunches and their steak dinners and their new car, their new BMW, their new lease, their new house. They love to flaunt what they have. The day of reckoning's coming to America. Those people are going to be obliterated. You'll never see them on social media again. They're going to be wiped out. You and I are going to buy this market when it crashes, and we're going to do very, very well. And we're going to set our futures up because we were patient and we waited for this day. The day of reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're ready.